Some of the most intelligent people in the world live lives far smaller than their potential, not because they lack talent, not because they lack opportunity, but because their own mind quietly works against them. Intelligence is powerful, but when it is unmanaged, it becomes a silent disadvantage. Highly intelligent people are admired from a distance. They understand things quickly. They notice patterns others miss. They think several steps ahead. They analyze deeply before making decisions. From the outside, it looks like they are built to succeed, but what most people never see are the internal battles that come with that same intelligence. These are 8 struggles only highly intelligent people face. And if you recognize yourself in this, stay until the end. Because the final struggle is the one that quietly ruins everything. Struggle number 1 is thinking too far ahead. Highly intelligent people rarely think in straight lines. They think in webs. Every decision connects to multiple outcomes. Every action branches into possible consequences. Where most people see one path, they see 10. And that sounds like an advantage. Until you realize something. When you can see 10 paths, you also see 10 ways to fail. You see hidden risks. You see long-term consequences. You see mistakes before they happen. So, instead of moving, you calculate. Instead of acting, you simulate. You replay scenarios in your mind. You refine, you adjust, you wait. Over time, your brain begins to prefer thinking over doing. Because thinking feels safe. Action feels uncertain. And slowly, intelligence turns into hesitation. Life does not reward perfect thinking. It rewards movement. The longer you wait for certainty, the heavier action becomes. That is struggle number 1. Struggle number 2 is isolation in plain sight. Highly intelligent people crave depth. They want meaningful conversations, insight, complexity, growth. But most daily interactions are simple, surface level, predictable. Small talk feels draining. Repetitive conversations feel exhausting. So they begin to feel different, not superior, just different. They may sit in a room full of people and still feel alone. They may be surrounded by friends and still feel disconnected. Because their internal world is rich and complex, and not everyone can enter it easily. Over time, this difference turns into quiet isolation. And isolation weakens emotional resilience. When you feel like no one truly understands you, you stop explaining yourself. You stop sharing unfinished ideas. You stop asking for help. And the more you withdraw, the harder it becomes to reconnect. That is struggle number 2. Struggle number 3 is hyper-awareness of flaws. Highly intelligent people do not just see problems in the world. They see problems in themselves. They replay conversations. They analyze their tone. They question their reactions. They notice every weakness, every hesitation, every missed opportunity. This level of self-awareness can be powerful, but without self-compassion, it becomes dangerous. Instead of using awareness to grow, they use it to judge. The inner voice becomes harsh, critical, relentless. They hold themselves to higher standards than anyone else does. And slowly, confidence erodes. Because when your own mind constantly highlights what is wrong, it becomes difficult to see what is strong. Struggle number 4 is intellectualizing emotions. When something hurts, highly intelligent people often analyze it instead of feeling it. They ask why they reacted the way they did. They search for patterns. They attempt to solve emotions like problems. But emotions are not problems to solve. They are experiences to process. When feelings are dissected instead of felt, they remain unresolved. Pain that is not processed does not disappear. It accumulates. An accumulated emotion turns into burnout. Burnout turns into detachment. And detachment slowly disconnects you from your own life. Struggle number 5 is fear of wasting potential. Highly intelligent people are often aware of their capability. They know they can do more. They know they can achieve more. And that awareness becomes pressure. Every average outcome feels disappointing. Every delay feels like falling behind. Every year feels like lost opportunity. They do not just want success, they want to maximize their potential. But here is the paradox. The higher the potential, the heavier the expectation. And the heavier the expectation, the more terrifying failure becomes. Sometimes the fear of not reaching their potential becomes so strong that they avoid starting at all. Because not trying protects the illusion of what could have been. Trying and failing makes it real. That is struggle number 5. Struggle number 6 is boredom with routine. Highly intelligent minds crave stimulation. They enjoy complexity. They enjoy learning. They enjoy solving new problems. Routine feels dull. Repetition feels restrictive. They start projects with enthusiasm. They dive deep. They obsess. But long-term success is built on repetition, on discipline, on doing the same thing even when it feels ordinary. And this is where many highly intelligent people struggle. When novelty fades, motivation fades. They move on to something more interesting. Not because they lack ability, but because their brain constantly seeks stimulation. This pattern creates unfinished projects, incomplete goals, half-built systems, and over time, inconsistency becomes the real obstacle. Struggle number 7 is overthinking decisions to the point of inaction. Overthinking feels responsible. It feels mature. It feels intelligent. You weigh every option. You consider every angle. You anticipate every consequence. But the search for certainty becomes endless. There's always another perspective, another risk, another possibility. And because certainty never arrives, action is delayed. Delay becomes habit. Habit becomes identity. Eventually, highly intelligent people begin to describe themselves as cautious, as careful, as strategic. But beneath that strategy is often fear. Fear of making the wrong choice. Fear of irreversible mistakes. Fear of visible failure. And the longer action is delayed, the more intimidating it becomes. That is struggle number 7. Struggle number 8 is feeling misunderstood. Highly intelligent people often process information quickly. They connect ideas rapidly. They jump steps in conversations. Others may not follow. And instead of slowing down and explaining, they simplify themselves. They shorten their thoughts. They avoid complexity. They keep deeper insights private. Over time, they shrink their expression to fit the room. And shrinking yourself repeatedly creates quiet resentment. You begin to feel unseen, underestimated, unfulfilled. And when someone feels unseen for too long, motivation fades. Now here's the turning point. Intelligence is not the problem. Intelligence is neutral. It amplifies direction. If directed toward action, it becomes powerful. If directed inward without discipline, it becomes destructive. The real issue is unmanaged intelligence. Intelligence without emotional control. Intelligence without structured action. Intelligence without self-compassion. If you recognize yourself in these struggles, it does not mean you are broken. It means your mind is powerful but untrained. Power without structure creates chaos, but power with structure creates impact. The solution is not to think less. It is to act more. It is to allow mistakes. It is to accept imperfection. It is to move before you feel fully ready. Because clarity does not come from thinking. It comes from movement. Highly intelligent people do not fail because they lack ability. They fail when their mind becomes their master instead of their tool. The question is not whether you are intelligent. The question is whether you are disciplined enough to direct your intelligence. Because if you do not control your mind, it will control you. Quietly, slowly, and almost invisibly. But once you learn to direct it, that same mind becomes your greatest advantage.